Our Bible reading today is from 1 Corinthians chapter 13. And yet I will show you the most excellent way. If I speak in the tongues of men or of angels, but do not have love, I am only a resounding gong or a clanging cymbal. If I have the gift of prophecy and can fathom all mysteries and all knowledge, and if I have a faith that can move mountains, but do not have love, I am nothing. If I give all I possess to the poor and give over my body to hardship that I may boast, but do not have love, I gain nothing. Love is patient. Love is kind. It does not envy. It does not boast. It is not proud. It does not dishonor others. It is not self-seeking. It is not easily angered. It keeps no record of wrongs. Love does not delight in evil, but rejoices with the truth. It always protects, always trusts, always hopes, always perseveres. Love never fails. But where there are prophecies, they will cease. Where there are tongues, they will be stilled. Where there is knowledge, it will pass away. For we know in part and we prophesy in part. But when completeness comes, what is in part disappears. When I was a child, I talked like a child, I thought like a child, I reasoned like a child. When I became a man, I put the ways of childhood behind me. For now we see only a reflection as in a mirror. Then we shall see face to face. Now I know in part, then I shall know fully, even as I am fully known. And now these three remain: faith, hope, and love. But the greatest of these is love.
On the 11th of September 2001, when the two planes hit the Twin Towers, I was 3 days into my first year of teacher training. It was an event that would come to shape my experience of teaching religious education. I wasn't prepared for the hostility with which students asked the following questions. Where was God in this? Doesn't religion just encourage atrocities? How can anyone forgive such actions? Harder still was dealing with and knowing how to react to Islamophobia and racism that some of the students expressed freely within the classroom and on the corridors. The hatred, division, and discrimination and chaos that followed was the backdrop to my first few years of teaching. In 2003, a song was released. That song was called Where Is the Love by the Black Eyed Peas. It was a real popular song with the students that I taught. They absolutely loved it. And I tried to capitalise on that by shoehorning it into any lesson I could. The chorus of that song contains the following words: Father, 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 help us. Send some guidance from above. Because people got me questioning, where is the love? Where is the love was perhaps the most important question that people were asking in 2001. In 2025 now, when we look at the telly, when we watch the news, when we see our social media feeds and we listen to what is happening around us, we might still feel that that is the most important question that anyone could ask. Where is the love? St. Paul asked the question, where is the love, to the Corinthian church in 2000 years ago. And he said to them this: I may be able to speak the languages of human beings and even of angels, but if I have no love, my speech is no more than a noisy gong or a clanging bell. I may have the gift of inspired preaching. I may have all knowledge and understanding, all secrets. I may have all faith needed to move mountains, but if I have no love, I am nothing. I may give away everything I have and even give up my body to be burned, but if I have no love, this does me no good. In this section of Corinthians 13, we learn that love is not an optional extra, but an absolutely essential part of life. We are personally diminished if we do not love. Says, I am nothing. Love is what makes us human. because we're made in God's image and God is love. We learn that being loving isn't just doing something helpful or impressive. We need to have the right motivation. Paul is using the Greek word agape, which means self-sacrificing love. Love that motivates people to prefer the needs of others. In our churches, communities, and the world, we might have our gifts and talents and use them impressively. But if agape love is not our motivation, nothing will change, because corruption and self-serving interest and ambition will creep in. But where is the love? The main place we see love is through Jesus. God's love is non-preferential and self-sacrificing. Through his life and death, Jesus showed us a model of agape, which we can seek to imitate. Paul also outlines agape looks like, so we can recognise it when we see it. Again, reading from Corinthians. Love is patient. Love is kind. It is not jealous or conceited or proud. Love is not ill-mannered or selfish or irritable. Love does not keep a record of wrongs. Love is not happy with evil, but is happy with the truth. Love never gives up. Its faith, its hope, and its patience never fail. There's a second answer to the question, where is the love? It's that it should be inside us. This passage was written as a gentle rebuke to the Corinthians, who were glorifying themselves with their spiritual gifts, and often at the expense of others. The words above are an accusation, but instead of personal criticism, they give an ideal standard by which we should measure ourselves. By really knowing and meditating on these words and verses, we can often find that the words come to mind when we catch ourselves being jealous, unkind, proud, or irritable. For me, I'm particularly prone to remembering these words when I find myself keeping record of wrongs. Perhaps we could develop a weekly or daily practice of checking our behaviours, attitudes and motivations against this ideal. We have no control over the state of the world, but we can choose to act with love ourselves, and love is a powerful force that can really change others. A third place that we find love when we ask the question, where is the love, is that we find love in heaven. St. Paul reminds us that love is eternal, and that is the power of agape. He says in Corinthians, love is eternal. There are inspired messages, but they're temporary. There are gifts of speaking in strange tongues, but they will cease. There is knowledge, but it will pass. For our gifts of knowledge and inspired messages are only partial. But when what is perfect comes, then the partial will disappear. When I was a child, my speech, my feelings and my thoughts were those of a child. But now I am an adult. I have given up my childish ways. What we see now is like a dim image in a mirror. Then we will see face to face. What I know now is only partial. Then it will be complete as God's knowledge of me. Everything in this world will end. It will change, but love remains eternal. We are laying down foundations of love now, but the love experienced in heaven with God will be unimaginable. When we ask where is the love, we should remember that God is near us and God is love. He is with us in the troubles of the world. As Paul says also, but in Romans, nothing in creation will ever separate us from the love of God. Meanwhile, these three remain: faith, hope, and love. But the greatest of these is love.